And we're live finally with Panos Skliamis with us today. Panos is CEO and founder at Spin Analytics in London. Today he's in Athens, Greece. And yeah, Panos is running this company. It's a fintech and a reg tech in the credit management, credit risk management and modeling sector. So, Panos, welcome to the podcast. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate the invitation. One more founder in your show. Not only. I'm a little experienced in the traditional banking sector. I've been in investment banking and banking for many years. In the last almost 12 years now, I'm in fintech. With Spin Analytics, our company, we're working since 2018 in developing a software which we call Risk Robot. Actually, we're expanding the software currently with agentic AI workflows, which is the latest technology, and we call it Risk Robot 2.0, actually. The target is to support the banks to survive and thrive. And because we're doing credit risk modeling for banks, that is something that is a core need. It's not something nice to have. Usually, banks take significant time to develop a model, and with the software that we're providing them, they can industrialize the process. So they can reduce the time more than 90% and the cost more than 70%. We're a team of ex-bankers and credit risk models and software developers, quite experienced actually from big banks. And currently, we're expanding in the US market where we see a big potential.
Right. And why do you say surviving, right? Like, are you insinuating that banks are not doing super well nowadays? Are you referring to the 2008 crisis or the upcoming crypto revolution that could be replacing modern banks? Why are you saying surviving?
Uh, well, uh, there are many reasons. The main one is that the banks become like a special type of animal in the zoo of business in a way, and this is because they are too big to fail in a way. Because the financial system is based on the banking system, so there's a list of regulations around them in order to make them credible and trusted by the customers. Now, the banks suffered, of course, between 2008 and some other crisis before and after that. But the main reason that we have banks is about deposits and credit, especially credit, actually. So, in order for the banks to provide credit, they have to be sure that their client, will pay back the loan. And this is a quite difficult business because actually you have to predict the future, what's going to happen with the customer. So the way to do that is actually calculating algorithms that they call credit risk models. They have a universal regulation, which is Basel Accord, which is a global regulation. Everywhere is the same. So that helps us to be everywhere actually as a software team. And the way that this is happening the last years is quite interesting because the banks were allowed to survive, although they could shut down in a way. But because of the systemic impact that every bank has every time that one of them is closing, they allowed them to survive. Now, one of these main reasons is to keep expanding, and the way to expand is to actually provide more credit in the market. This is good when it's happening, but it's not easy to happen when the bank is not sure if the customers are going to pay it back. So that's an ongoing battle, and our side is to support the regulator side actually and the bank to be compliant and to be transparent about how they develop the models in a way that the models are accurate on an ongoing basis. At the same time, the customers can feel that they take more from the bank, not just pay more. So that's the complicated story. The nice thing is that there are many banks, so we have quite a lot of them. The bad thing is that the banks they follow the specific way that they provide credit, so they need to pass this kind of rating per client, and the only way to do this is through these models, the credit risk models. So this is the long cycle, which in the university we were calling this a system that you put water from the one side and it goes all the way to the other side. There is no other way to go out. It's complicated, but it's the way that the world is working. And since you mentioned crypto, I'm not in crypto at all, but it's becoming convenient now to discuss crypto because actually of the changes, the regulations that are happening.
Right.
So many things.
And as an ex-banker, what happened specifically in Greece around 2008? I believe the country defaulted, right?
Yeah, this happened after actually 2011 and 2014 again and 15. There were three defaults in a way after the 2008 that happened in the US market. This was mainly for different reasons, for the public debt, and this affected the banks. But Greece is under European Union, so European Union supported with the IMF, and Greece restructured the debt. Actually, Greece has a big advantage because currently they have restructured the debt with low interest rates, around 1% for many years ahead. So it's like it's a frozen debt comparing what's happening in the market. But it worked finally, and the market is growing because of the tourism industry and property industry and so on. So I think that's a past now about this crisis. However, it's a big lesson. This lesson was enough for us to start the company because when we started the company, we were trying to find a way to avoid crisis, and risk management is a way, actually. I can hear you, Charles.
Do you think that most bankers got rich of that, while most citizens ended up paying, or was it like a different scenario?
No, this scenario it repeats itself. If you check financial history, this happened in many countries. It's not just the banker become richer; it's a situation with the current timing in each country. So Ireland had its own history. Italy had its own history with the banks. US the same time. So depends what is the timing. I feel it's more about specific people at specific timing in the history of economy in general than just the banks are the main problem. So it's about people probably.
Right, because people had the party as well, right? Like even post COVID, there's been a lot of these injections in the economy, a lot of these social checks in Canada and the US as well. And are we now like in the after party mode in which everyone has a headache, is trying to pay back that money that has been loaned in the last couple of years?
Well, if you check the world around us, you will see countries that they have a specific history, and probably this what you just described didn't happen. In other countries, that's already a fact. So you can see that in some countries this is happening, in some it didn't happen yet, but it's going to happen. So it's like we see the history repeating itself. I'm sure that we can all agree that the central banks and the regulators and the governments, although they are squeezing consumers and corporates at different times of and periods of history with higher taxes, whatever, they have a way at the last minute to actually increase the liquidity, which we call significant liquidity in some cases, like the COVID situation or other situations. And this means that there's always a way, but there must be a political decision. Now, probably this is a good lesson as you describe it, because we can all learn that it's not like it's 0 to 1 direction. There's always a way to stabilize the economy, and these numbers that we're listening, like interest rates, debt numbers, whatever, probably are more nominal than real. The same is happening with the US debt, which is huge, but the Greek debt, which was considered huge comparing the countryside, was enough to default the country. So it's more about political decision at the end of the day. European Union at the period of Greek financial crisis didn't allow anything. Today, however, they allow. So, for example, we have Germany and the rest agreeing on a big decision a couple of weeks back that the military budget is out of the debt calculation, which didn't happen any time in the past. So this is biased from an economist point of view like me, but it's a political decision that helps the economy to grow. So now more jobs are happening because of the big budget on the defense side. So you see, it's a political decision. Uh, so I feel it's like the politicians have always a way to survive in a way, you know.
Yeah, true facts. Tell me a bit more about Spin itself. Who's your ideal customer persona? What do you sell exactly? I know that there's AI. I know it's about loaning better or crediting better, right? Like, tell me a bit more about the platform itself.
Yes, yes. So we're happy that we're evolving actually because we started from total zero. Uh, the, the the fintech that we are running is targeting banks of all sizes. Currently, we're building an AI hub in the US market, which is going to support the community banks. So we're talking about modeling as a service. At the same time, we're offering direct license for the big banks. The platform has been validated in 3 continents with multiple tier one banks. We have the pleasure also to have a big network of partners who are, a lot of them are previous competitors. So that's a big milestone that we achieve with a lot of effort. And in general, what we're trying to do here is to become the main infrastructure for the credit risk modeling side. Risk Robot is based on expert systems with rules-based AI. So this allows for transparency in the models that the software can develop, which is the key point for the regulators and the banks. And currently, we're adding agentic AI workflows, which is going to increase the uh, experience for the modeling for the modeler actually, who is going to talk to the software, not just use dashboards. And this is going to be a different level of efficiency. Uh, Now, the most important is that actually we have achieved to automate things that usually are totally manual. So this is why they like the platform, and this is how they love us in a way. So that's the main direction. Currently, we're expanding the US and we're preparing a big fundraising round actually, because we have big support also from one of the US states. And we feel that this can help also to grow the team and the product.
And your target market, these are banks. Banks of what size? Can you be more precise about who takes
Yes.
the end decision?
So the big banks have the chief risk officer, who is the key decision maker, and he decides for the risk management department. Under him, there is the head of analytics, who is actually running the modeling department. And this is the main persona, as you described it, in order to achieve to have a result with the bank. We usually start either from him directly from the chief risk officer or from the innovation department, where actually there are multiple challenges, and we are participating in POCs that actually the bank has approved in order to uh, provide some results and identify new technologies. We have been quite lucky with this kind of innovation programs because we have achieved to win a lot of the innovation challenges, and this created a big network of partners and clients. Actually, the latest one, which is going to be announced in a couple of weeks, is with McKinsey in Europe, which is a big competitor for us, but they approve that we have a unique advantage in this technology and this space.
Right. Yeah, I saw all the titles that you guys won. It's pretty insane. Yeah, like all
Yeah.
of that. Is that your main prospecting strategy? Then what's the downside of like always be pitching and participating in these competitions?
So, because we started from total zero and nobody knew us, we wanted to become quite well known in this word of mouth community, which is quite closed actually. So we started winning the innovation challenges, which is presenting, first of all, credibility and networks. And the second level was to create partners who are the current partners of the banks, like system integrators, cloud providers, auditors, management consulting firms, that are the total community of all this space. So there are two directions, the innovation side and the partnership side. And the final one is directly with the client. Because we are doing the fintech side, we wanted to keep the fintech side from our side and outsource the rest to the partners, like the implementation level, the maintenance of the platform, and the consulting that the client could want to in order to approve a modeling project. So it's a win-win situation. It's not that we want to take it all because actually this business is quite big. The projects are quite big in terms of size and value, and there is space for everyone.
Right. And how's your platform different than the competition? And what's the existing solution in space? And why is it outdated, their current models?
Yes, the current competition is actually manual. They are all based on coding tools, like the traditional coding tools, starting from Excel, going to SAS, etc., and Python language, which means actually they need the experts to deliver models with a lot of effort. This today takes significant time, 6 to 12 months per model. And what we develop differently here is a dashboard approach, a no-code approach, which actually embeds the expertise of the modeler. That's the key point here, the secret sauce. The expertise is quite a difficult thing because it's not something that you can find publicly. And we had to develop the software in terms of effort with a lot of software development and a lot of efforts from our side. It's an ongoing actually topic because we have to keep updating the platform. But the good thing is that we don't have one model fits everything approach. We have a factory with assembly lines approach, which means we are following what the bank will request. So we configure the platform according to this request, and then the bank will we will deliver to the bank a dedicated software which is according to their modeling specs. Then they can execute the models that they have decided to execute on the Scrobot platform, and this helps them to industrialize the process. Now, in our research in the global market, we haven't seen the same anywhere actually. That's why we have all this kind of support from these big companies, and we feel that that's a unique approach.
Right. And you've been running that one for 7 years now. And you do you have like a client or pilot going on?
Yes, we have done successful validation of the software and implementations. We have started from the European side. We entered in the Asian side in Asia, and currently we're expanding in the US market. It's a growing market because there are thousands of banks, and we have also a target to serve the community banks, as I said earlier, in the US market, which are a couple of thousands of banks. And this is going to happen with the modeling as a service approach. So actually, we're going to offer a dedicated data center, starting from New Jersey State, actually, where we have found a very good launchpad in order to grow. And this is going to target the small banks that they have 10 to 20 models each one. So we're going to offer them directly the models, not the platform, in order to help them to grow. These banks usually they don't have a risk modeling team; they outsource everything. So it's going to be a very convenient way for them to keep compliant and same time grow.
It seems the sales cycles are incredibly long, though. It seems quite challenging to be in that business. How did you find the patience to stay in there? And yeah, could you pay yourself as a CEO, or did you had other sources of income the last 7 years?
Yes, that's a very good point, Charles. It looks like you have experience from B2B sector.
Yeah.
The B2B sector, it doesn't need just experience. Actually, it needs a lot of strategy because there are multiple reasons why the bank can delay a decision. I have at least a list of 20 reasons here. Either the people are leaving the bank, either there is a change in the business plan, or a new sudden financial crisis and everybody shuts down the process, or they have to speed up. However, it's an ongoing dynamic situation. And the good thing is that when you enter in a situation like this, the bank can keep up for the long term. So this is a long-term process, and you have to be ready for that. Now, regarding patience, yes, we have enough, I think, since we are executing that. Regarding survival and sustainability of the company, yes, we have done already fundraising, which kept us alive. we invested ourselves, of course, when we started the company, and we have also bootstrapping from the first clients. The most important is that we follow the lean approach from day one. So this kept us live, and now we have the pleasure to say that all these partners that we have in our partnership decks are supporting like we're a big vendor because they have understood the unique approach of the technology. Now, of course, it's not a good advice for someone that is not experienced because maybe they like a quick win, but depending what do you describe as a win, actually. A POC, a proof of concept is a win, but it's not enough. An implementation is a win, but it's not enough. A long-term partnership with the banks or a partner is more important, probably because you can scale faster, and faster means from whatever you were going to do alone, because it's always about having correct information to kick off the process. And regarding banking sector, we have to be aware that it's a closed community because the banks are trying to keep their internal checkbox with the regulators and auditors, and it's ongoing battle as well for them. However, we have this kind of experience, so we understand how they react and decide. So this, I feel, it's what kept us alive, and we're ready to expand more.
Right. And once you close them, what kind of deal is it? Is it an annual fee? Is it like a fee per transaction, per usage? And why would they not
Yes.
churn you and try another solution?
Yes, the good thing is that these solutions are sticky when they try and buy, because first of all, it takes significant time for them to decide. But when they decide, they stick with the solution for quite a long time. In our case, we have a license fee, which is the software license fee. And because we are offering the models as well through the platform, we have an annual recurring fee per usage, which means how many models or portfolios of models the bank is using. And this is the license direction. There's also the modeling as a service, as I said earlier, which is the charge that we have, the fees about each one of the models. And this is going to be especially for the smaller banks. However, at the end of the day, what we see here as a trend and go forward is that the bank wants to keep compliant. So for us, it's important to have a flexibility in all this pricing. So currently, with the agentic AI workflows that we're updating the platform, we're going to have significant cloud consumption, and we're going to have fees from the cloud consumption as well, because the bank has to move a huge number of data, and this creates significant consumption in their cloud.
Got it. Well, Panos, thank you so much for schooling us on that specific topic, specific niche. Where can people find out more about you and Spin?
Well, we're based in London, but we're expanding in the US currently through New Jersey and New York. Of course, they can reach us in our website, spin-analytics.com, or our main email, info@spin-analytics.com. And happy to connect on LinkedIn with everyone. We're an experienced team of founders that we have done everything, I think, from scratch. So we don't feel any fear to do more new things. The most important for us is to find new partners to keep up the growth. And I'm very happy that you are giving us this opportunity to discuss publicly.
Pleasure. So that was Panos.